Hey everyone, welcome back to First Best here. Today we are testing one of the most popular saying nowadays with the start of the new year. As goes January, so goes the year. I recently saw many people bring this up and I wanted to actually quantify it and test if it's actual edge or financial astrology. So here's the question we are testing. We know that there's essentially no relationship between daily returns. Knowing what the market did today by itself gives you no edge tomorrow. But sometimes, when you aggregate or drive signals from price behavior, you can get better than random probability shift. So in this video, we are testing a simple idea. Do the first n trading days of the year tell us anything about how S&P 500 finishes? And in a minute, we will try to find which n value works best and see if this statement has any merit to it. So the experiment will be like this. For each year, I split returns into three pieces. Firstly, the return over the first n trading days. Secondly, the return over the rest of the year after the nth day. And finally, the full year return. Each year counts as one data point. And in total, we are using data from 1993 through 2025, which gives us 32 observations. In this experiment, n turns out to be the single biggest factor that makes or breaks the analysis. Rather than choosing a value arbitrarily, I tested n from 3 to 15 trading days, and then evaluated how well each one performed. I ultimately settled on n equals 9. The reason is simple. It's right near the peak of the directional accuracy. At n equals 9, the overall sign match is about 72%. If you go too small, like 2 or 4 days, the signal gets extremely noisy. If you go too large, beyond about 2 weeks, you start diluting the early information with randomness. So 9 days is early enough to matter and strong enough to show real probability shift. Let's do a reality check with recent years. In 2018, the first 9 days were up 3.4%, but the year finished down 5.2%, so the signal can absolutely fail. In 2022, first 9 days were down 2.8%. The year finished down 18.6%. So sometimes it's dead on. This is not a silver bullet. Think of it as a probabilistic tilt, not a guaranteed signal. Now for the results. Across the full 33-year sample, when the first 9 days were up, the year finished up 20 out of 22 times. That is 91%. When the first 9 days were down, the year finished up only 7 out of 11 times. That is 64%. But here is the key context. Even without any signal, S&P 500 finishes up 82% of the years in the sample. So the real takeaway isn't just up versus down. A positive first 9 days shift the odds from about 82 to 91%, and a negative start drops them around 64%. Because we only have 33 years of data, uncertainty matters. So I bootstrap confidence intervals by resampling years. For first 9 days up, the estimate is 91%, and the 95% confidence interval runs roughly through 77 to 100%. That's a fairly stable bullish effect. For first 9 days down, the estimate is 64%, but the interval is much wider, about 33 to 91%, simply because there are fewer down start years. So the takeaway is this: the bullish signal is clearer than the bearish signal. Just because the first 9 days are down does not mean the year will be a bad year, but when the first 9 days are positive, the odds strongly favor a positive year. Now let's run a tougher test. Does the signal predict what happens after the first 9 days? The base rate for the rest of the year being positive is 76%. If the first 9 days are up, the rest of the year is positive 82% of the time. If the first 9 days are down, that drops to 64%. So the effect still exists, but it's weaker. And that makes sense, because part of the full year effect simply comes from including the early move itself. We talked about direction, and now let's look about magnitude. Historically, when the first 9 days are positive, the full year return is about 14 percentage points higher than when they are negative. The difference is meaningful. But to be honest, when you run a regression test, the relationship is weak. The first 9 trading days only explain 5% of the full year returns, and almost nothing for the rest of the year. So this isn't a forecasting formula. It is not telling you how much the market will move. It's a probability shift and not a prediction tool. I also checked different market eras to see if any macro or fiscal policy was the reason for this relationship. From 1993 to 2007, the direction matched about 2/3 of the time. From 2010 to 2019, it was closer to 70%. From 2023 onward, it looked perfect. but that's only 3 years, so we can't trust it yet. For the rest of the year returns, hit rate is about 60% and correlations are weak or even negative. So again, this is a modest edge, not a universal law. Here's the practical takeaway from this video. The market already has a bullish base rate. About 83% of the years finished positive in this sample. A strong start improves that to roughly 91%, and a weak start drops it to 64%. So if the year starts strong, it supports staying risk on. If it starts weak, don't panic, but it can justify caution, hedging, or waiting for a trend confirmation. This is not a standalone strategy, it's a context filter. If you want to explore this kind of quantitative market context yourself, check out perspicium.com, link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.